everybody, my name is Mars, you can call me MG if you would like, and today I have a video for you specifically about this notebook, which I have been using as my brainstorming journal throughout the year, and I just finished up the last page in it. So you can see all of these are filled up, and I'm so happy about that. I am a little bit weird when it comes to brainstorming. I have to do it by hand, but for the longest time I would have a separate notebook for each project and I would do it that way, but I just have so many projects that it was not sustainable for me to do that anymore. So I figured, let's just put it all in here. It's not like most projects will get more than a couple pages anyway, because a lot of the time I just have a sudden burst of an idea, so I will quickly write it all out and then I won't think of it again, or I'll incorporate it into a different project or something like that. But yeah, this has been a very successful little experiment for me in just putting all of my brain dumping in one notebook. Brain dump, brainstorm, same difference. I definitely will be continuing this practice with a new notebook in the new year, although I might actually break it in a little bit before the new year because we're not yet halfway through December and I've finished this notebook, so if I've got some brainstorming to do, I'll have to break in that notebook early. But this notebook is actually apparently an owl crate notebook. I got it at a thrift store, so I don't know what box it was in, but I really liked the spiral top. I don't really use notebooks with spiral binding, and I don't like when it's a spiral bound on the side, because then when you're writing on the one side, your hand bumps into it. But the top being spiral bound was actually really cool, and I liked it a lot. So yeah, I like the notebook. I don't have any other spiral top notebooks, but maybe I will treat myself and buy one if I see one for not too much money. But enough about the notebook itself. Let's talk about the stories that I brainstormed within it. So now I have my tiny little notebook to consult where I wrote my statistics down. This is a spiral bound on the side, and I don't like using that side of the paper, but this is really just a catch-all notebook where if I have something to write down that I don't really have another place for, I put it here. That's besides the point. So within my brainstorming notebook for this year, I brainstormed about 35 different stories, and it wasn't all consecutive. So Love City, for example, I did an initial brain dump, and then I did stuff for other stories, and then a couple pages later I wrote Love City again at the top of the page, and I went back and did more brainstorming for it. So there's a lot more starts and stops than 35, but 35 stories total. Of those 35, 4 are old ideas that I had before the start of the year, and then I was just revisiting them to flesh them out a little bit more. 31 were new ones. Now, not all of those are ever going to become books or anything. It's all just wouldn't it be cool if this sort of thing happened? So I have a tendency to cannibalize stories, and I also call it looting the body, where if I have an old story that doesn't really work, it's not going to go anywhere, I will go through it and pull out parts that I really like maybe I like this character, or this scene, or this trope, or dynamic, and I will reuse them for future stories. So that's probably what's going to happen with most of the stories in this notebook. Okay, next we're going to look at ones that I kind of just brainstormed and then left, and then the ones that I actually worked on after that. So, of the 35 initial brain dumped stories, 10 of them are things that I later revisited and fleshed out more. Some of them I outlined. In the case of XCO, I actually drafted it. That was my NaNoWriMo project. So, yeah, not a high rate of returning to stories, but that's what happens when you have 1,000,000,001 ideas like I do. Honestly, 10 is more than I thought it would be. But I will say, just because I haven't returned to all of these stories doesn't mean I don't think about them. There are several that I think about quite a bit. I just haven't had the time to prioritize them because so many story ideas. But yeah, 10 of them I've gotten back to. So we'll see, hopefully I can return to more of them in the future. As for genre, 6 of those stories are contemporary, 6 are paranormal or supernatural, 20 are high fantasy, and 3 are sci-fi. I will say for the contemporary, it's not just like strict contemporary. I know one of them is like a horror thriller slasher kind of vibe, so like it just means no magical elements when I say contemporary. Yeah, that 20 high fantasy, not surprising, but also that's so many. Um, then we have if it's like part of a series or not. So, of my 35 story ideas, 2 are for serial fiction, 8 are series ideas, 8 are companions with other ideas that I've had, and 17 are standalones, which I'm very glad that's the highest number because if it was like 17 series, no. I don't know what I would do, but like that's so many. 8 series alone, most of them that I've come up with this year, like who do I think I am? That's so many books. But yeah, I'm glad that the standalones are the highest number there. I will say that I don't really know what the correlation between, like, if it's a series or not, and genre is. I haven't taken down that much data. I know that the 2 serial fiction ideas, one being Love City, the serial fiction that I've been writing and publishing this year, the other one is about zombies, so I put both of those in the paranormal category, paranormal slash supernatural. I don't really know the distinction. I will say that much. Most of the series, I would say, are fantasy, probably. But yeah, I like statistics, so I thought it'd be cool if I went through the notebook and took down some numbers on it. So that's all that I did. I probably could have figured out more, like which are the stories that I went back to the most frequently to re-outline. For that one, it might be my first pirate romance because I remember I would do some and then I would do a page of another story and then I would go back to that pirate romance, and then I'd do a page talking about another story that like jumped into my mind, and then I'd go back to the pirate romance. Um, yeah, I don't know why I remember that specifically because I was working on that all the way back in the spring, but I think the pirate romance is the one that I left and returned to the most times in this notebook, so that's pretty funny. But yeah, I guess that is the end of this video. I did do a video earlier this month where I talk about all of my like priority stories and where they are at in terms of the writing process. So if you want to hear specifics about some of the stories that are in this notebook, definitely check out that video. But for now, we've come to the end of this one. If you've enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.